All right, well, summer floral is about out of season, so freshen up those planters with some nice fall foliage. Richard and Cam are here from the grass pad to show us what we can do. So we did a bunch of our planting in the front gardens, of course, around Mother's Day. Those pots are kind of wearing out right now. What should I do to help put some more color back in those planters?
Now would be a great time to go in there, rip out all that stuff you planted last spring.
But I worked really hard on it.
Correct, and you got to enjoy it all summer. And so now is the time to freshen it up with something new.
Okay, so what are some of the different plants that you would recommend here for this fall as we're getting ready for the fall months and fall seasons?
So of course the hardy garden mums are going to be top pick for anybody looking for color in the fall, but there's a lot of other things out there that have a lot of interest. We've got ornamental peppers, Gerber daisies, there's celosia in multiple different colors. Pansies, if you're trying to replace areas, bedding plants, shorter flowers, the pansies are going to bloom all the way into the winter and again next spring.
And I hadn't heard about the celosia until you guys came here, and it's truly a very dynamic color. It looks great, And can you talk a little bit more about the ornamental peppers and the ornamental cabbage that you have down front here? First of all, I'm not sure you guys brought enough plants here today, but how is this? Is this really a thing? I never even heard about ornamental peppers before.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different plants that normally you would think of in a vegetable garden scenario that have very good ornamental qualities. And so they've actually started kind of breeding for some of those ornamental qualities.
Really?
And so with this ornamental pepper, you're getting multiple different colors, multiple different textures. As far as trying to eat it, it would be very hot and bitter.
Oh, very hot too, huh? Okay,
Yep.
so steer away from those. Maybe give the raccoons that come around my house a little surprise when they bite into one.
There you go.
So real quick on the tall tree, is this a tree or
So
what is this over
this
here?
is a fine line buckthorn.
Okay.
And this is about how big it's going to get. 6 to 8 foot tall, 1 to 2 feet wide. These are leaves, so they actually will drop off in the wintertime, but what a great vertical accent.
It's really cool, and it look great on your patio certainly too, right?
Absolutely.
All right, and Cam, hang on, I'm going to ask you a question in just a second, but one more question for you, Richard, but how should we care for these plants? Or is it pretty common care for a lot of the fall plants, or are they each individualized, or how we should care for them?
So anything new that we're planting here in the fall, we'd recommend using the root accelerator.
Okay.
And so what we're trying to do is build that strong root system. If you're planting a mum or a pansy, you want to make sure that it has enough roots that it can go through the winter and pop back up for you next spring.
In the spring, yeah.
If you're throwing things into a container like we did over here, where you can just throw in a couple of things and have a nice fall arrangement, you would want to make sure that you're fertilizing with the root accelerator just to keep the blooms going.
Okay.
In the greenhouse, they were used to being fed every time they were watered. Now we need to make sure that we're watering them and fertilizing them often.
Okay, and Cam, I know my lawn needs reseeding. Is now the time I should start reseeding, or should I wait a little bit? What's the plan for our lawns here towards the end of the summer, early fall?
Yeah, so this time of year around the grass pad, we don't call it September, we call it seed timber.
Okay.
And we're all excited, we're buzzing around, we're selling grass seed, we're doing our thing. On top of the seed, we're going to recommend a fertilization or a lawn feeding. And if you're following along with the Uncle's Idiot Proof program, we're on step 4.
Okay.
And that's going to be the fall renovator or the golf course starter.
Golf course starter. Well, I always wanted my front yard to look like a fairway, so definitely got to follow that plan. Have we had a wetter summer? Because my lawn seems to be greener now than some of my earlier lawns that I've tried. It seems like this year it's been growing a little bit better. Is that true?
It's true. We saw a lot of pressure from disease and lawn fungus, which is going to hurt some spots in the yard. What else are you looking for? It could be green, but it could be full of weeds. Crabgrass, clover, anything like that is thriving in the wet conditions.
Okay, I got you. So definitely start reseeding as soon as possible, right? And get to step number 4 on the Idiot Proof Guide.
Absolutely. Do it now.
Idiot Proof, that's going to go home with me because that's a good word to describe my lawn care. So thank you, Richard and Cam. We appreciate you being here today. Visit any of GrassPad's 5 KC locations to get pro help. For more information, go to grasspad.com. For after-hours help, you can also submit your question and photo on the Ask Uncle part of the website.